JBN, we keep you informed. Light sentences handed down for crimes in MoBay. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items. A significant number of persons, many of whom pleaded guilty to serious offences, were convicted and various sentences handed down to them when they appeared in the St. James Circuit Court and the Western Regional Gun Court between May 20 and 24. The Police's Corporate Communications Unit, CCU, in a release said the following persons who were charged with murder pleaded guilty to manslaughter and were sentenced as indicated. Rick Dickinson, otherwise called Ferrigram, was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Fitzroy Manderson was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Garfield Orton was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Kenyon Smith pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to 10 years behind bars. Adolphus Allen pleaded guilty to wounding with intent and was sentenced to 6 years. The CCU said the following persons were convicted of various sexual offences and likewise sentenced. Lloyd Tomlinson, who was found guilty of rape and forcible abduction, was sentenced to 5 years on each charge. The sentences are to run concurrently. Jermaine Clark pleaded guilty to sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 16 years and was sentenced to 3 years behind bars. Tevon Martin was sentenced to 2 years in prison, suspended for 3 years, with a supervision order for the charges of sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 16 years and grievous sexual assault. Paul Reed, who pleaded guilty to incest, was sentenced to 5 years in prison. The release of the following persons were convicted for various breaches of the Firearms Act and sentenced thus. Akeem Reed was sentenced to 3 years and 9 months for illegal possession of firearm and 2 years for illegal possession of ammunition. Joel Bligeon was sentenced to 12 months probation for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Joseph Jennings was sentenced to 2 years probation with supervision for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Garnet Graham was fined $300,000 or 2 years imprisonment for illegal possession of firearm and $50,000 or 1 year imprisonment for illegal possession of ammunition. Delroy Rankin was fined $750,000 or 3 years imprisonment and $350,000 or 3 years imprisonment for illegal possession of firearm and illegal possession of ammunition respectively. The following persons were sentenced for breaches of the law reform, fraudulent transactions, Special Provisions Act of 2013, and sentenced thus. Geraldine Luders, who pleaded guilty to possession of identity information and possession of access device, was fined $200,000 or 5 years imprisonment on each count. Gavin Johnson pleaded guilty to possession of identity information and was fined $150,000 or 3 years imprisonment and 12 months imprisonment suspended for 2 years with a probation order. Anthony Jefferson was fined $150,000 or 3 years imprisonment and 12 months suspended for 2 years with a supervision order for possession of identity information. Kenil Johnson was fined $300,000 or 3 years imprisonment and 12 months imprisonment suspended for 3 years with a supervision order for possession of identity information. Dario Barracks was fined $300,000 or 3 years and 12 months imprisonment, suspended for 2 years with a supervision order for possession of identity information. Alex Perry was fined $350,000 or 3 years imprisonment and 12 months imprisonment, suspended for 3 years with a supervision order for possession of identity information. Curtis Moore pleaded guilty to possession of identity information and was fined $200,000 or 3 years imprisonment and 18 months imprisonment, suspended for 3 years with a supervision order. Sheehan Campbell was fined $100,000 or 12 months imprisonment for possession of identity information. Now, hasn't the justice system failed us with these slap-on-the-wrist convictions? JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.